Across haunted manors, cursed towns, and bottomless seas, horror fiction has unleashed monsters that feed not just on flesh, but on fear itself. Some are supernatural, some scientific, and some, well, the most terrifying of all, are human. So today I'm counting down my top 10 monsters of horror fiction. Creatures, entities, and nightmares that have defined the genre for more than a century. You'll be able to guess some of these, but not all. Come see if you dare. Hey everyone, I'm Jim. This is Fantasy for the Ages. Welcome to our channel where my son Zach and I explore fantasy, science fiction, horror, and other nerdy things that we geek out about. Sometimes we do this together, sometimes it's just me solo, but always we're bringing far too much enthusiasm for people who do not sleep enough. If you enjoy creepy countdowns and classic monsters as much as I do, go ahead and like this episode, subscribe to our channel, and ring that bell so that you don't miss what's coming next. A special shout out to our Patreon supporters. You're the brave souls who keep this channel alive and unhaunted. Seriously, though, if you enjoy what we do, check out the link down in the show notes to our Patreon page. Consider becoming part of our community and gain the exclusive perks and early access to our episodes. And thank you from the bottom of our heart for your support. This series on the top 10 monsters of literature started with the fantasy genre, then science fiction, but we always needed to end right here with horror. And this is where the options were plentiful. And thus, the pressure to get it right was plentiful. Did I? You'll need to be the judge of that, and I hope to see your thoughts on my top 10 down in the comments. All right, let's get monstrous, shall we? Before I give you the actual top 10, I have two honorable mentions to toss at you. Ones I really wanted to put in the top 10, but others pushed them out. And yet there are significant reasons they both deserve to be mentioned. The first is The Invisible Man. First featured in The Invisible Man by H.G. Wells all the way back in 1897. Science removes his visibility, but also his morality. The Invisible Man proves that absolute freedom and zero accountability can turn even geniuses into monsters. He's the prototype for every man loses his soul to his own experiment story since. And the other honorable mention also relates to science, and that's Frankenstein's monster. First featured in Frankenstein by Mary Shelley way back in 1818. A patchwork being brought to life by science, then rejected by his maker, and cursed with self-awareness. The horror is not just in his form, it's in the reflection he forces us to see. 200 years later, and we're still asking, who's the real monster here? Him or us? All right, on to the official top 10 that I'm bringing to you today. Number 10, the zombies. First, really coming to us in their form of today in Night of the Living Dead by George A. Romero in 1968. But it's been on and on in so many movies and literatures and graphic novels, countless successors. The zombies are everywhere now. They shuffle, they bite, they multiply. Sometimes they run terrifyingly. There have been so many fascinating versions of zombies. But regardless of what style they come in, they are the horror genre's great equalizer. Mindless, relentless, and absolutely everywhere. Romero didn't invent The Walking Dead, but he redefined them. Not voodoo slaves or cursed corpses, but a tidal wave of humanity turned against itself. The true terror of the zombie is not the gore, it's the collapse. Civilization disintegrating in hours, morality in minutes. Whether they're slow and rotting or sprinting like Olympic sprinters, Thank you, 28 days later. Zombies remind us how thin the line is between us and them, and how fast it disappears once the world stops working. Number 9 on my list, and some of you will say that's way too low, Jim, but here's where I put him: Pennywise the Dancing Clown, as featured and brought to us in the novel It by Stephen King back in 1986. He's not just a clown, he's an ancient cosmic predator that feeds on fear itself. Pennywise is whatever scares you most, wrapped up in a balloon and grinning about it. King gave us one of the most enduring monsters in modern literature, something both supernatural and psychological. And honestly, if you're not already scared of clowns, you're lying to yourself. Number 8, let's take the terror up a notch. The Deadites from The Evil Dead, first featured in the 1981 film. There's been multiple other films and novelizations, all featuring these guys. Possessed, laughing corpses that gleefully dismember their friends. They're the kind of monsters that cackle when they tear your limbs off, equal parts horrifying and hilarious. The Deadites prove horror doesn't have to be serious to be effective. It just has to be unhinged. Bonus points for their catchphrases and creative use of power tools. Number 7, The Babadook, from The Babadook by Jennifer Kent, 2014 novel. If it's in a word or it's in a look, you can't get rid of the Babadook. Born of grief, feeding on denial, this monster crawled out of a pop-up book and straight into collective trauma therapy. He's not just under the bed. He is what's under your skin. The Babadook showed that the scariest monsters aren't always supernatural. They're emotional. Number 6, a real classic for you, The Werewolf, featured in The Wolfman by Kurt Siodmak in 1941. Of course, we've got the original movie by Universal Pictures and so many other versions, both in film and literature. I'm reading one right now, Mongrels by Stephen Graham Jones. A curse, a full moon, and a poor soul who can't stop mauling people. At least that's one version. The werewolf is one of horror's oldest metaphors, the beast within us all. What makes the werewolf timeless isn't just the transformation, it's the tragedy. Every story is a battle between man and monster, and the monster usually wins. For number 5, again, going up on another notch, The Cenobites, from The Hellbound Heart by Clive Barker, 1986, but brought to the screen in Hellraiser. Leather, chains, and pain beyond comprehension. The Cenobites aren't evil. They're explorers of sensation, which is somehow even worse. Open the box, and they'll open you. They're what happens when curiosity and desire meet cosmic punishment. Barker's twisted creations redefined body horror and reminded us some doors should stay closed. Don't pick up that puzzle box. Number 4, The Shape, as in Michael Myers, from Halloween by Curtis Richards, which is the 1979 novelization of the movie by the same name. Emotionless, unstoppable, empty. Michael Myers isn't just a killer, he's absence personified. The moment that white mask appears, you know death's already in the room. The brilliance of The Shape is his simplicity. He doesn't talk, doesn't reason, doesn't stop. He never even hurries. He's the void in human form, and you cannot reason with nothingness, nor can you ever really stop it. For my third pick on this list, I get to one that I referenced in my science fiction countdown, but didn't put on the list. I was saving it for here. We're talking about Cthulhu. From The Call of Cthulhu by H.P. Lovecraft all the way back in 1928, and with us in many and various ways ever since. The big squid-faced sleeper beneath the sea. Cthulhu isn't out to destroy humanity. He simply doesn't even notice we exist. And somehow that's the most terrifying thing of all. Lovecraft's creation is the godfather of cosmic horror, of being so vast and indifferent that madness is our only rational response. Cthulhu does not haunt your dreams. You exist in his. Sleep tight. For number two, perhaps my most contentious pick here, The Overlook Hotel from The Shining by Stephen King, written way back in 1977. This is a building possessed by pure malevolence. The Overlook isn't haunted, it is the haunting. It's not the only haunted mansion that I could have pulled out here, but it's my favorite. This building feeds on human weaknesses, addiction, rage, despair, and amplifies them until you're both guest and ghost. The hotel doesn't want your soul, it wants your story to never end. But number one, the OG of horror that I want to bring to you here is Count Dracula. From Dracula by Bram Stoker, 1897, and by association, I am lumping the entire vampire genre in here. The one, the only, the original Lord of the Night, Dracula, is Gothic perfection. Seductive, aristocratic, and deeply wrong. He represents every dark temptation humans can't resist: immortality, power, desire, and he's still the measuring stick for every monster that followed. Stoker's Count gave horror its fangs, and a century later, he still owns the night. And then there's all the vampiric versions that have followed. I mean, just think about it. So much terror wrapped up in a thing with wings and fangs. That's a good one, and that's number one. So that's my list, the top 10 monsters in horror fiction, with a couple of honorable mentions for good measure. From clowns that eat fear to cosmic gods that couldn't care less, these are the nightmares that built this genre. What do you think? Did I miss one of your favorite monsters? Which of these would top your personal list? Let me know in the comments below. Heck, give me your whole top 10 if you want. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. Plus, share this episode with anyone else who enjoys a good scare. If you haven't seen them yet, be sure to go back and check out the top 10 monsters of fantasy and the top 10 monsters of science fiction. Because no matter the genre, we all love a good monster. Thanks again for watching Fantasy for the Ages. I'm Jim. We'll talk to you next time.